ASMR Gaming News. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to ASMR Gaming News. Please hit that like button, sit back, relax, and let's begin. So first big piece of gaming news for the week is about the PlayStation 5. Sony randomly surprised everybody this week by revealing the official PlayStation 5 controller. Yes, we don't know what the PlayStation 5 looks like, but we know what the controller looks like now, so it broke all types of records on the internet. I think it had like one of the most liked Instagram posts from Sony, I think, aside of this other one, it's second place. People were talking about it on Twitter. It was trending for the entire day, so all sorts of stuff like that. But this is what we know. So PlayStation 5 controller is no longer going by the name DualShock. It's going to be called DualSense. So official name for the PlayStation 5 controller is DualSense. And this is the first time that Sony is changing the name, basically, of their main line. I want to say PlayStation controllers because, see, just a little history here. PlayStation 1, the original controller was not a DualShock controller because it did not have analog sticks or the rumble function. Sony later made a revision of the original PlayStation 1 controller, gave it analog sticks and the rumble feature, and that was called the DualShock or DualShock 1. Then the PlayStation 2 had the DualShock 2. Then the PlayStation 3 came out, and Sony was feeling, unique and interesting, so they named their controller the 6-axis, and it did not have the rumble feature inside the controller, or it was a very weak version of the rumble. I forget. It was a terrible controller, by the way, the original PS3 controller, 6-axis. And then they realized how terrible it was, and a few years later, they released the DualShock 3. Then with the PlayStation 4, it's the DualShock 4. And now, with the PlayStation 5, they are yet again reinventing the name and calling it the DualSense controller. Now, the reason for this is because there's going to be, I guess, two senses to the controller. There's going to be, honestly, we don't know all the features that Sony plans on including with this new controller, but here's what we know so far. So the reason why it's DualSense, dual sensitivity, is because it's going to have haptic feedback apparently on the analog sticks when you press in, and on the shoulder buttons like the L2 and R2 triggers. So they're going to be pressure sensitive as well as haptic. We still need to get more information about that from people that actually get to test out the controller since it's new. But apparently it's going to be used very, uniquely in games. Sony is already thinking of using it for their first-party games coming out on the system, so I'm sure we're going to see all sorts of great uses for the sensitivity and haptic feedback on the L1 and R1, R2, and L2 triggers, on the back of the controller. Now, the controller design surprised a lot of people because it seems a little bit similar to the PlayStation 4 controller, just slightly different. The analog sticks are made of the same material as the PlayStation 4 controller, so the DualSense is going to be similar in the analog stick quality or design. The D-pad, though, the D-pad is different. The D-pad is looking a lot like the PlayStation Vita D-pad design, which has a lot of fighting game fans and 2D platforming fans very excited because the PlayStation Vita had an amazing D-pad, so it seems like Sony is trying to replicate that. Next, we have the face buttons, the triangle and square and circle and X button. They look very similar to the ones on previous PlayStation controllers, so we have to test those out and see them in person, I guess, to really get a feel for them. But from the image Sony put out, that looks exactly the same. There's a new button. It's going to have a create button. There is no longer a share button like on the PlayStation 4, so we're going to have a create button instead. So I assume for people that are going to be streaming, uploading clips to YouTube, you're going to use the create button now to clip parts of your game. Now, there are two features, well, one feature specifically, which a lot of people are excited about, and that is the built-in microphone. Yes, it still has a, built-in headphone jack, just like the PlayStation 4 controller is wireless, and you can just connect your headphones into the PlayStation 4 controller and listen to, your game from anywhere in the room. Sony still has that for the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, but this time you will have a built-in microphone directly in the controller. So let's say you don't have a microphone and you're playing a game like Fortnite and you want to say something to your teammates. No problem. You just turn on the microphone function on your controller and you can talk directly into your controller and the people hear it online. So that's amazing. That's really good. That means basically there's no excuse to not communicate in a game now, because if you have the system, you have a microphone. So that's pretty awesome. Hopefully the quality is good. And people have been very positive about the, look of the controller. The design is a little bit strange. It's kind of similar to the PS4, but very different. It also has like a mixture of two different color schemes. It's like white and black. Some people are saying they hoped the entire thing was black, because the mixture of like the white top part with the black lower half of the controller seems a little bit like mismatched. Honestly, I think the controller looks pretty cool and futuristic, so I think the PlayStation 5 is going to look very, very awesome judging by this controller, so can't wait to see that. But yeah, DualSense controller. And the last piece of news or cool information about this is the battery life. So according to developers and people that are talking about this, PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is going to have a very, very strong battery life, because one of the complaints with the PlayStation 4 controller is how the battery will die. People always have to be charging the battery on that. If anyone here has a PlayStation 4 and you use it wirelessly all the time, you know what I'm talking about. Like after a day of playing Fortnite the entire day, you have to charge your controller overnight or something. It's kind of annoying. Sony is going to make this battery way stronger, so it could potentially last for like a week of no charging it. There's something crazy like that, so that is awesome. This is going to be such a good controller. And I just realized we spent like this entire first part of the video talking about a new controller, but it's the hottest news of the week. Everyone's really excited about this, so let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Next, we got some PlayStation 5 news. Technically, this is a rumor, but it's been confirmed. So this is a confirmed rumor by insiders. So a Silent Hill reboot is officially happening now. This has not been announced by Konami or Sony or anyone, but apparently the original creators of the Silent Hill series, like the ones that were involved with the development of the first and second game, are developing a new Silent Hill game, and it's being developed by Sony Japan. So it seems like Sony Japan got a hold of the license. Maybe Konami licensed Silent Hill to Sony Japan to develop with the original creators. But yes, according to this rumor, it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and it's going to be announced in the next few months. So we will probably see something during the summer, possibly at TGS, the Tokyo Game Show, if that still happens this year. But yeah, seems like we're going to get a new Silent Hill game by the original creators, so it's probably going to be a good game. And Konami will not be developing it. It's being made by Sony Japan, so who knows, maybe the game will actually be pretty good, considering the last few Silent Hill games have not been that great. So I'm excited for that. Next, we have some disappointing news for PlayStation fans. This is kind of disappointing. So, The Last of Us 2 has been officially delayed, and yeah, people are pretty sad about this. They were waiting for this game. This is going to be a big PlayStation 4 exclusive, and because of the current events going around in the world with a certain virus, can't really say the name because YouTube, but you know what the virus is. Yeah, Last of Us 2 has been delayed. A lot of the development staff have to work from home. The game is basically finished. They are just fixing some bugs and stuff like that, but they just decided to delay the game because a lot of people can't access the game. People can't go to stores to buy the game, and Sony wants to have a big launch for The Last of Us 2, so the developers said, you know what, we're going to delay the game, release it in the future so more people can access it, and just have an easier time shipping the game and stuff like that. So following this announcement, there was a lot of support from the fans, to Naughty Dog, the developers of The Last of Us 2, saying, no problem, take your time, stuff like that. Of course, there were angry people as well, saying they were waiting for this game for a very long time. But most of the, reaction to this has been pretty positive. And new gameplay clips leaked online then, so there's new gameplay for The Last of Us 2 on YouTube that leaked. Looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed the game got delayed because it looks amazing, but I understand they needed to fix some more issues, and they want to make sure everyone can buy the game and have it shipped without any delays, so they just want to delay it until a future time when things are a little bit, better than they are currently. So that brings me to some more delay-related news. So people are saying more games are going to be delayed now in the future because of all the stuff going around in the world right now. Specifically, Japanese games actually are going to be delayed. So basically, the games ratings board in Japan, similar to the ESRB here in America, is being shut down temporarily for 1 month. So what this means is, any game, let's say let's say we get a new Dragon Ball fighting game, new Street Fighter game, new, I don't know, any game from Japan that you like, a new Final Fantasy game, a Kingdom Hearts game, One Piece game, My Hero Academia game, anything that comes out from Japan is going to be delayed. And the reason for that is they can't rate the game, and without a game being rated either T for teen or M for mature, it can't be released. And when it's not, released in Japan, it doesn't get licensed or brought to other countries. So there's going to be delays because of this happening right now. So it's probably not going to be too serious. A game might be delayed, for a month or something. But yeah, games will be delayed now because of this delay. So kind of disappointing, to see that happen. But hey, it's current news. But we still have some positive news after all of these delays. And talk about delays, Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red confirmed that September 2020 this year is still the official release date for Cyberpunk. So that game is still coming out. It's not being delayed according to them. The game is actually basically finished. They're just fixing glitches and bugs until the official launch of the game. So it's done, and it's coming out in September, so can't wait to play Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red, they are amazing developers, so I'm sure this game is going to be awesome. Next, we have some news about E3. So the people in charge of E3 are very hopeful because they already announced E3 for next year. So even though E3 for this year is not happening, because, they had to shut down the entire center in LA because of the virus issues, they basically said, hey, we're not doing it this year, but don't worry, we already have everything set up for next year. So you can buy tickets and basically start buying booths and stands for your game companies already right now for next June in 2021. So that's kind of crazy, But hey, it's nice to see that E3 next year is still going to happen, because a lot of people were worried that the delay this year might kill E3 forever. And speaking of E3 for this year, apparently they were planning on having some kind of digital replacement for E3 this year, since no one could go to the event. They were planning on live streaming it on like Good Morning America or something like that. And basically those plans fell through. They weren't able to meet a deal, and it's not going to happen. So there's no official E3 2020. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo are going to have their own live streams, but nothing's going to be like official E3 coverage. So that's disappointing, but understandable. Crytek, developer Crytek, you probably know of them if you played any of the Crysis games. Those games are insanely beautiful. Crytek, let's just say these guys know how to make beautiful games. So this week they came out with a statement saying the PlayStation 5 is the best next generation console. So people were asking them, what do you think about the PlayStation 5 specs versus the Xbox One Series X? And they said the PS5 is better because it has way more internal features that outdo the Xbox Series X. Even though the Xbox Series X does have some better specs, PS5 does things way better with shading and loading. So if they say this, I think we can believe them, because these guys on PC, I mean, Crysis 3 still holds up. That game looks beautiful. These guys are like masters of creating amazing looking games. So if they say games will look better on PS5, I believe them. So that's just something they said this week. Sorry, Xbox fans, I love you too. Next, we got some news about the Super Mario Lego sets, which are going to be coming out this year. Apparently, the release date is August, so August 2020. If you head to your local toy store or Amazon, or I think even the official Lego website, you're going to be able to buy Super Mario Lego sets. So lots of Super Mario and lots of Lego fans were waiting for this announcement, because, you know, people want to make sure they get their hands on these Lego sets. It's going to be a very big collab between Nintendo and Lego for like the first time ever. So yeah, this August is when that will be launching, so that's going to be great. Next, we have some cool news about the next Resident Evil game. Yes, Resident Evil 8 Village is apparently what the next RE game is going to be called. So all you Resident Evil fans, 8th game is going to be launching in 2021, and it's going to be a PlayStation 5 game. Nothing's been said about Xbox Series X yet, but I assume it will be on Xbox as well. Resident Evil isn't like an exclusive game. It comes out on everything, so if it comes out on PS5, it'll probably come out on Xbox Series X as well. But yeah, it's going to be basically Chris Redfield as the main character apparently this time, so we're going to be playing as Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 8 next year, so hopefully that's good. Resident Evil fans have been getting a lot of Resident Evil games recently with the Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake that just came out this past week, so lots of Resident Evil to go around. Speaking of it, which Capcom put out a survey for fans after Resident Evil 3 launched, asking, hey, what other Resident Evil games would you like to see get a remake or a sequel? And a lot of people online, from what I've been seeing, have said they want a Code Veronica remake. For those that don't know, Code Veronica was originally going to be Resident Evil 3, and then they decided against that, and the game came out on like the Sega Dreamcast, and it was ported to the GameCube and PlayStation 2. It's a kind of black sheep of the Resident Evil series. It's kind of hated. It's very different from other games. Some things it did is pretty cool, but a lot of things from that need to be fixed and changed. So hopefully for a remake, they could make Code Veronica a way better game than it currently is. So I see why fans are asking for that one the most. And honestly, I would play a Code Veronica remake if Capcom decides to make that. And last piece of news is for Overwatch. So yes, Overwatch apparently is getting their new hero character in an updated live version to the game on April 14th. So currently, Echo, the new hero in Overwatch, is only playable on the PTR, the public test region on PC. But if you play on Nintendo Switch or Xbox or PS4, you can't play this character because it's not live in the main version of the game yet. But according to Blizzard, Echo is going to be added on April 14th, so that's just a few days away. And I can't wait to play Echo and try her out on the channel for the first time, so be on the lookout for that video. And yeah, that's basically all the big game news for this week. So thank you all for listening, for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. So long.